All right. What's going on, everybody? I hope you guys are having a good day. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. Today, we have a great conversation going on where we're going to talk about Meghan Markle or Princess Markle or something, whatever she was going to be. I don't know. The lady that married the redhead white boy across the sea, and suddenly, I guess her wedding's more special than the rest of us. Do me a favor, everybody. Please hit the button, the share button, subscribe button, and we're gonna have an intelligent Black conversation. Please share this around because we're looking to build Black media. So I have a group of panelists, and what I'm going to do is just as each panelist comes on, I will introduce a panelist, and I also will put them on the screen so you can see their information. Please support all the panelists. We got Dr. Charm and Trey Kearney and Trey Carney, right? Or is it Carney or Kearney? Trey Kearney. We got John F. Thomas and T. Khalik and John Henry Harris, who always has some great things to say. All right, so let's just jump right in. All right, so everybody, I'm gonna ask everyone in the chat as you're hitting the thumbs up button, as you're subscribing, give me a yes or no if you've been following Meghan Markle and all this stuff going on with her and the royal family and the big interview with Oprah. Let me know if you saw any of the interview, if you formed opinions on it, if you've checked out any of the commentary about it or seen any of the alleged drama around it. I'd like to know who's all briefed on this. Okay, I see some no's and some yeses. Okay, good. All right, so I'll just give the briefing from the eyes of Dr. Voice. I'm not an expert on what's going on. I'd love for you guys to fill me in. And then I'm going to jump to Dr. Charm, ladies first. All right, so basically Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, that's his name, yeah. They did an interview with Oprah. And they did an interview, and a couple of bombshells that seemed to come out in this interview with Oprah, where after they left the royal family, they are, I guess, telling what happened. Right? They're talking about the baby Archie and how allegedly somebody was worried that the baby would have dark skin. They also mentioned something about what was the other one? There was one more bombshell. That's right. Meghan was suicidal. She said she felt that they made her suicidal. So let's just start with a broad-based question, Dr. Charm. You're a smart lady. I'd like to get your thoughts on this. What are you thinking? What were your first thoughts when you saw all this kind of going down?
Well, I don't like to watch commercials, so I kind of tuned into the interview about 15 minutes in, so I could kind of fast forward past the commercials. But people on Twitter were already going crazy about the dark skin. So when I got to that part, I could not believe that I couldn't believe it. The suicidal, that wasn't as much as a surprise to me because it's an immense amount of scrutiny. And I look at some of the British press and the way they just tear her apart. I mean, these people really hate her. And so to be going through that, I wasn't surprised about her being suicidal after seeing a lot of those headlines. But about the baby skin tone, that was shocking.
So why do you think if the British press dislike Meghan Markle, why do you think that is? I'll go with John F. Thomas. What are your thoughts? Why do you think, what do you think is really going on with this?
I mean, the British press, same thing like the American press here when Barack Obama, because a lot of people tend to forget, and it wasn't that long ago when the Obamas were in office, and all the imagery, not even just here, but around the world, of how they feel, how white people feel, and how they perceive Black people to be. So it's not a surprise to see how Meghan Markle was addressed and how they attacked her so much in comparison to Kate. Prince, I think William's wife, that other Duchess. So Duchess Meghan, she was getting attacked and slandered and all of this stuff in the press. But that's all an attack against her Blackness, because at the heart of it all, white supremacy does not like Black people. We are anti basically what white supremacy is. We are hope, we are enlightenment. Basically everything is birthed from us. But for white supremacy, they want to keep their stronghold. Anything Black, they want to tear that apart and destroy it. So they do that in all kinds of ways, especially in press, because it gets to everybody.
Okay, so Trey, did you feel like this was a white supremacy thing? Like, did you feel bad for Meghan? What were your feelings and your sentiments when you heard Meghan? It seemed like Meghan did most of the bombshell points that were shared seemed to be from Meghan's experience. Did you have any sort of empathy for her? How did you feel when you were listening to her speak, Trey?
I had empathy, of course, because it's hard to be in any relationship. But this is also not coming to America, where Akeem came to get a woman from Queens, and everybody was happy and rah-rahed up. There was some things that I'm sure her and Harry had conversations about, pillow talk. Like, this is not out of the blue that they're prejudiced. So I felt empathy for her, of course, because of the way that she's being treated. But I'm not surprised that she's being treated this way, and I'm just really sorry that she felt suicidal. I'm glad her husband is supportive, but like I said, for me, it was like, did she think this was going to be like a Coming to America movie and everybody was going to embrace her? We already know that everybody is, well, not everybody, but a lot of people are racist against Black people. And when you come out and your mom has dreads, there's going to be a certain response to that. When we come out with our natural hair, there's a certain response to that. So I have empathy for her, but I don't feel like her and Harry should have been surprised at all if they really sat and talked. And even if her mom sat and talked with her. My mother had conversations with me and said, them people killed Princess Diana. So I already just knew. So I'm sure that she had conversations with her mom where her mom said, listen, you know who you're marrying. They don't want you to marry him, and this is not going to be easy for you. So I had empathy for her, but I just think that she wasn't a victim that should have been so surprised at this.
Okay, so T, I want to ask you, when I saw it all kind of go down, people asked me how I felt about the whole situation. I didn't, I can't say I feel sorry for Meghan Markle. It's like, yeah, it's difficult to marry a rich white guy from across the sea, but yeah, that's why I married a Black woman. That's why I'm going to. I'm not trying to throw myself in the fire and then cry because it's hot. What are your thoughts on that? Am I being an instance when I say that, T?
No, and I may have a little bit controversial views on this myself because I really didn't care, to be honest with you. Because it's like I look at Meghan Markle's dating history as well, and her past 3 boyfriends have been white men. So, I mean, you marry another white man from a family who has a history of enslaving Black people, and then you come back to America and then you start crying about what they say about your child. I mean, to me, I just see damsel in distress. I'm sorry. Meghan Markle is going to be good. I'm sorry. She's rich. They didn't hurt you. I mean, this is just a Hollywood internal script to me, and I'm trying to see what is the point of this. Is this to get Black people riled up, marching, ready to go? When reality, I mean, you don't even really talk to Black people. And I mean, I'm looking at a friend. I'm not judging interracial relationships. I don't care about it. I don't even care if you have white friends, but your best friend is white. And I just feel like this is just that disconnect from the Black community. But then I want to come back when I feel bad, so Black people can lift me up and fight my battles, but I really don't associate with them. So yeah, that's the vibe I was getting. And I really want to hear the Royal Crown side as well. I don't know if I'm really taking her story as fact, to be honest with you.
Well, they released their statement earlier today.
Yeah, well, their statement, I'm going to find the statement and I'm going to read it. And actually, John Henry, I want to ask you this question first. Then we'll go to you, John Thomas. You know what this makes me think about? I'm going to you, John Henry, because I don't know if you and I are the oldest guys on this panel or not, but we go way back. And you know what it makes me think about? It reminded me, tell me in the audience if anybody remembers this. Remember when O.J. Simpson didn't want nothing to do with Black people? Like he got rid of his Black wife, got him a little Becky, and was living happily ever after doing Hertz commercials. And then when his ass get caught up in some bullshit, he suddenly want to be extra Black again. Suddenly, and look at what they're doing to me, y'all. They racist, y'all. Right? That's what I thought about, honestly. Because I never disliked Meghan Markle, but I've actually been a little bit irritated since the wedding happened, and somehow people acted like that wedding was more special than Black love. No, that wasn't Black love. That was a discount. That was a degraded, a discounted version. That was a lower tier brand of love. That was not Black love. No disrespect to what she did. I mean, I got people in my family that married people who weren't Black, but it really was kind of fascinating. Just almost this almost like people got excited, almost like they were watching porn or something. Like it was like just that exciting for people to see. Like they called it a fairy tale. What was the fairy tale? Clearly, it wasn't a fairy tale. It was a nightmare. Why are you calling it a fairy tale? What about that experience is a fairy tale, other than the fact that he got a whole bunch of his family got money robbing black people around the world? John, please, I'm gonna shut up, man. Give me your thoughts on that, John. Here.
Meghan. Okay, well, first of all, when you're trying to become part of a monarchy, it doesn't matter what color you are. The change is going to be difficult. Now, Prince Harry's brother, Prince William, he at least gave his wife or soon-to-be wife 8 years to adjust, to get ready to become part of the royal family. They kind of, Harry and Meghan kind of just jumped into it. And, and Prince Harry, he's kind of an interesting fellow himself. He's always kind of marched to his own beat, so to speak. He joined the military against his family's wishes, and a lot of his other outside interests have been against what the family has wanted him to do. So him marrying a black woman was just another incident in a long line of other incidents that were counter of what the family wanted. So it's a mixture of a lot of things for me. Is the British family? Do I think the British family is racist? Yes, their history is speaks to that. However, I also look back at Duchess Fergie and the difficulties that she went through when she became part of the royal family and later divorced. And also, again, Princess Diana, when she separated from Prince Charles at the time, and the difficulties that she went through and the controversy and suspicions around her death. So whether she was black or not, I think is almost inconsequential, but it does play. I believe it does play into what she is going through right now.
All right. So by the way, everybody, we're talking about Meghan Markle and Harry, and should Meghan have just married a black man? I mean, with all these problems, maybe there's something to be said about marrying into families that where you're not just marrying in because of the money, or you don't just think it's a good move just because they have money. There are also complexities that you got to consider. So hit the thumbs up button, everybody. Please hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button. John F. Thomas, I'm going to go to you next. You just sent me this statement. I appreciate you sending me the link, brother. Thank you. This is the response of the royal family. They actually replied to Meghan and Harry's interview with Oprah. And here's what they said. This was an interesting statement. They said the whole family is saddened to learn the full extent of how challenging the last few years have been for Harry and Meghan. The issues raised, particularly that of race, are concerning. While some recollections may vary, they are taken very seriously and will be addressed by the family privately. Harry, Meghan, and Archie will always be much loved family members, the statement said. That surprised me a little bit, John, because it didn't seem like they were throwing any shade. They were being very royal. Like, gosh, we're so sorry this happened to you. We're going to conduct an investigation. It's going to be private because it ain't none of your business. And because we're the royal family, we ain't got to do nothing for nobody. But we wish you the best and we love you. What do you think about that statement, John?
I believe that's a perfect PR cleanup, So, I mean, regardless, I mean, it's just like a company, like any company that comes out and, they have their PR team come in and, hey, let's make a statement. Hey, I'm sorry that happened. Oh, wow. We didn't even know this was occurring, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I think there was a little shade to me, just a little bit, but it was buried beneath a lot of the polished, words where just like, yeah, recollections may vary, which, I interpret it as, yeah, you saying this happened, but we're not going to say that happened. But hey, if that's what you feel, if that's what you believe, then we allow you to feel and believe whatever you want. But I feel as though, I saw some people saying, yeah, down with the royal family and stuff like that. But I mean, honestly, like this family is so powerful. They've been powerful for a long time. This entire lineage has been powerful. I'm like with T, like, what are they expecting to actually happen? And I don't like, I feel as though the black people, black community, and by extensions, our own celebrities have been placed in positions like Tyler Perry. He's been using his security to take care of Meghan and Prince Harry. And you can stay in my home and use my security. And I'm just sitting there wondering, so there was no one else around to be able to do that? Like, I don't know, President Biden can use his security to his influence, and all these other people, all these other white people, so many white people, couldn't do these things. But Tyler Perry had to come to the rescue. And then Oprah came and, let me give you an interview. They pulled Oprah out of the woodshed. And it was just like, it just feels very strategic to get, as black people, using black people as props to get our sympathy. And it's just like, I'm not sympathetic. You should have known what to expect when you're walking into this. You are basically walking into the heart of white supremacy, and you expected them to be kind to you and love your little mixed baby and things like, no, I don't. I'm sorry. I feel a little sorry for her, but I don't feel that sorry for her. You should have known what you were walking into.
Well, you make an interesting point, John, about the heart of white supremacy. And so, one of the thoughts I have, Dr. Charm, is, I think that is, as much as this can easily definitely be made into a black-white thing, I don't think we can deny that, right? I think that we know that she's going to be seen differently because she's black. But then, we had a white boy that married into our family, and he had a higher hurdle to jump than if he had been black, period. Why? Well, because in our family, we have this thing called black supremacy. And what does that mean? Well, does that mean we hate anybody? No, we don't hate nobody, but it means we make the rules. In our house, you come in and complain about grandma's barbecue chicken, you're going to get put out on the street. You know what I mean? Like you come in here talking about, well, I have the right to blah, 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 blah. Then no, your white ass will be out the door. It doesn't mean we hate you. It just means we got a way of doing stuff in our institution, in our family. We are the royal family over here. And if you cannot at least coexist with that peacefully, then we will ask you to leave. And we're probably not going to be as nice as the royal family might. We're not going to have you killed, but we might have you eliminated. So why is that? Why is that not pretty much the same thing that any white family might do, any white institution might do? I think the difference is that black people are banging down the door to get into white institutions. White people are not banging down the door to get into our spaces. Not in the same way anyway. Well, what are your thoughts on what I just said, Dr. Charm?
Well, I mean, I have some mixed feelings, but just going back to when you guys you were commenting on black women and just everybody getting excited about her marrying to this white family and they're slave traders. And I mean, yes, Portugal and Spain started the slave trade, but England put it on the map and really did the most damage with the colonialism and everything else. However, I know this is probably out of all of our generations, but people do recall when Grace Kelly married into the royalty in Monaco. It happened, I think, in the 50s or 60s. And that was a huge thing. She was an American actress, and this was a white woman, and she married into royalty. So it just captured everyone because America is known as the commoners. And for anybody that's a commoner, especially from America, to marry into a royal family, I think it just captures the attention of the public, specifically of the American public, just race aside. But as far as marrying into that family, I think that she did go in there naive. I don't think that she really knew what she was getting into. They did not protect her. Of course, they're going to throw her under the bus because it's all about William and Kate. He's the next in line. He's really the one in line for the throne past Charles. And so they're not going to look out for her. And it's really in this whole war of public opinion, it's like Kate, the way the British press played it was Kate versus Meghan. And we all know anybody with eyes can see Meghan is the more attractive one. She looks better. She dresses better. And so she started to get more attention than Kate. So we can't have her outshining a white woman, not at all. So that's where you get into this whole thing with the family just not really defending her. But at the end of the day, the way I feel, I'm a black woman, and Meghan Markle has not, she really hasn't, been like, oh, I'm, pro-black, this and that. But she, at the end of the day, she still is a black woman, and black people are going to defend her because she's black. And they say she's mixed race, and the people may say mixed race, this and that. But in a system of white supremacy, Meghan Markle is a black woman.
Well, I have a question, Boris. Just a quick question. If you would flip that, if it was a black man that was marrying, let's say, like a white royalty, would he get that same kind of protection? I feel as though he wouldn't get as much, like leniency as in the sense she's getting. And I'm not saying that she shouldn't get it, but I'm just saying I think that it would be more so of so he going to talk to that white woman. Now he want the black people to go on and be with them white folks. So I just wonder about that.
Oh, T's nodding.
No, I totally agree with that, especially if he has a history of only dating white women. You see, that's what people are understanding. Like, I don't like how black people are used. Like, it frustrates me. It's like, I don't want to be black until I really need you for something. I don't have a history of associating with none of you. But now when I'm in some damsel in distress, now I'm going to pull my black card. And it's like, what are you wanting black people to do? Like, why are we always getting triggered over stuff that has no tangible benefit? Okay, let's say we take out the royal crown of Britain or England, whatever the family is. How does that tangibly benefit black people? All it is just a symbolic win. And we got to get off of these symbolic victories. It does nothing for our people. It keeps us stagnant on things that doesn't elevate us in any way. So this is why I'm saying, no, I don't care. I'm sorry. You knew what you were getting into. You don't have a history of even messing with black people. So why should we just get triggered to be marching and just our feelings hurt over this?
Hey, John. Trey, I'm going to go to you, Trey, but I want to show you something before you make your comment, because I want you to comment on this as well. Let me show you. I found a picture. I did a Google search of Meghan Markle's ex-boyfriends, and not judging somebody's dating history. I don't care, but if you look at all her at least the three that they featured in this picture, there's not a brother in the picture. There's not a brother anywhere. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, because her father's white, right? So you tend to date somebody that reminds you of your opposite sex parent, or so they say. I can't critique that. If you look at Alicia and my mother took a picture together, and they looked almost identical. Like she looks more like my mother than she looks like her own mother, right? And her own mother said that. So nothing wrong with that. But to this point that T made, it seems to me that you do have this situation where people will only want to be black when they need black people to come through for them. You think about, for example, Byron Allen. He's a great guy, it seems, but I remember he took a personal dispute that he had with Comcast and said, hey, y'all, they being racist, y'all. Look at what they're doing to all of us, y'all. And the thing was, no, that wasn't between Comcast and the black community. That was between you and Comcast, right? So a lot of times you've seen this happen all the time, where somebody will take a personal beef, a personal fight between two parties, and then somehow try to bring the whole black community into it. Almost like when you were little and your cousin go start some shit and get their ass whooped, and they go to get the whole family and try to get all the cousins to go jump in the fight that you shouldn't have started in the first place. And I think that it's okay to tell people, look, finish your own fight. You're fighting with the royal family. Maybe it's racial, maybe it's not. We don't know. We ain't trying to marry Prince Harry, whatever his name is. Right, so go do you, but don't stop bringing us into it. We ain't got nothing to do with it, because we wouldn't be doing what you're doing. What's wrong with me saying that, Trey?
There's nothing wrong with you saying that, and it was 2 points that I was going to make to that. One, that she has a white father, so why would we say should she have married a black man? Like, I have biracial nieces and nephews. I'm not surprised if they dated white men. I'm not surprised if my nieces dated white men and my brother is black. I'm not surprised if my nieces dated black men and my brother is black. I mean, when you live in both of those worlds, we can't say she should have married a black man or it would have been easier. We can't say that, because she's both. She's black and white. So why do we have a problem with that? That's like somebody having a problem with me having a preference to date dark-skinned men. Maybe I'm attracted to dark-skinned men. It has nothing to do with light skin men. Maybe that's just my preference. And black people, I don't think Meghan came out and said, power to the people. Black people, I need y'all. Please help me. Not we as in us here defended her, but they showed up. Oprah showed up. Tyler showed up. We don't have to show up to these fights. That's us showing up, and we have to learn how to mind our business, because now we're making it an issue of racism. We really don't know what's going on in the castle or the palace or whatever it is. We don't know what the other issues may be. And like Dr. Charm said, we are black women, and we get pegged when we are just independent. when we have our own opinion. So this may not have anything to do with her being just black, half black. A lot of it may have to do with the fact that they don't want women over there to be independent. They don't want women over there to have a voice. They don't want women to go outside the scope of what they tell them to do. So when women do that, like Princess Diana and Meghan Markle, that becomes the problem, because maybe Kate is submissive. And remember, what was the other redhead chick's name? Who was the Duchess? Who was
Fergie?
Fergie had an opinion. Their problem is women who have opinions. And on top of that, she got a speck of black in her, because she's very, let me wear my hair straight to make sure I look good. So she didn't come out here saying the royal family are doing this and doing that. And she made some statements when she got a chance to sit in the seat with Oprah. She had made those statements to white people. We got to stop showing up, like T said. We have to stop making these our battles, and we have to start making these our fights. We keep interjecting like Captain Save a Hoe. Like we have to stop that. It's not our job, but we keep showing up to all of these fights, and like he said, it never benefits us. It takes the spotlight to the things that we need as Black people, and it puts the media light on something else instead of us thinking about the George Floyd trial right now. We're thinking about Meghan and Harry. Like you said, Dr. They rich white folks that's gonna be fine. They're picking a jury right now. We need to focus on that to make sure some things happen instead of focusing on the other stuff that's outside of our community and the things that we need.
But see, I think that's what I was saying. I think it's strategic that they had Oprah interview her. And then if you look who Oprah was talking to in between, or when they were showing the interview, she was talking to Gayle. So if it wasn't going to be Oprah, it was going to be Gayle. So they were going to use one of them two to talk to Meghan to pull Black people in. It's like, oh, you love Oprah. Hey, let's get Oprah in to go, because Black people going to support Oprah. They're going to go to the old channel. They're going to go and do all this. And they're going to support Tyler Perry. So because all of a sudden Tyler Perry showed up and he brought them in his house and here, use my security. And out of all these white folks in the world, there's Marky Mark. He's an actor. He has a lot of money. There's Robert Downey Jr. There's all these white folks that I'm sure they love the royal family. They're not going to reach out to Prince Harry and like, hey, man, come over here. But no, let's use these prominent Black people that Black people love to pull Black people in and care about some shit that who cares, really? I mean, like I said, that's their issue. I feel for Meghan and stuff that she went through, but at the same time, you got to take accountability. That's what you walk into. Be accountable for what you did. I'm sorry.
So I'd be curious. Why do you think she did? Why do you think they did the interview? What do you think the motivation was? I mean, you think it was money, clout? They got a movie coming out. They trying to get revenge. They trying to protect themselves. Like why do you think they did the interview? I mean, because remember, I think they split off from their family a long time ago, and suddenly, all out of the blue, there's this bombshell Oprah interview. What do you think the incentive was on that? Why do you think they did it? Anybody?
I think we have.
I think you're muted, T. But go ahead, Dr. Sean.
Yeah, they have they got a streaming deal with Netflix and I think Spotify. So I think this was an opportunity to get in the public eye. And of course, the split wasn't that long ago. I mean, it just happened at the end of really just like the end of 2020. So where they because they moved to Canada first and went part-time, and then really, like she was saying in the interview, they really got let go of the duties and stuff like right at the end of 2020. At the beginning of 2020. So it wasn't super long ago, but I think this ties into their media deals. I think it was strategic, but also, I mean, she has never spoken out about what went on with the royal family and what happened. So I think there's a lot of interest on this. And then on another note, I know that we have a lot of pressing issues as Black people, the George Floyd and the trial and all that is going on. But I do appreciate that this whole interview has sparked a bigger discussion about colonialism, about what the royal family has done and decimated Black people and non-white people around the world. And I think that has been a really good conversation that has come out of this.
I don't disagree with that. Now, T, it looked like you were moving your lips early. You have something to say, brother?
No, and I was about to go down that route as well. To me, it does look like a good Hollywood script because everything was quiet. And usually this is a rather unusual way to out a family member like that. I mean, most of the times family kind of want to keep things on on the inside. And also looking at Prince Harry, I believe his name is. It to me, I found that to be odd for you to just go against your own family. That is very weird, because me personally, if a family member said anything derogatory about my child or my lady, I'm going to confront them right there on the spot. You know, I'm not going to kind of hide in the shadows and kind of fly my woman back to America and not just be a man. I just feel like this guy has just kept his head in the sand, and then he's allowing his woman. It's just weird to me to bash your family, now creating a permanent rift between you and your family. That, to me, that is just odd to me. I'm shocked that this was not done underneath the table. You make it so public. And yeah, now, you know, to see the finale of this, you know, maybe we're going to have to watch Netflix. But yeah, that's very odd.
Well, you know, well, remember though, you know, let's put it into context. You know, Harry's mother, a lot of people believe Harry's mother was killed by the royal family. Now, I don't, is that true? Nobody knows, right? Nothing confirmed, but he's got that trauma. I mean, anybody, just take a minute, everybody, and imagine losing your mother when you're a little boy. You know, that's going to stay with you for life. So then suddenly, you know, you're marrying a woman who is pissing off the same people where you might have heard the rumors, you know where the bodies are buried, and you know, allegedly know what they are capable of. Maybe that does make sense to want to get her to safety or to keep them both safe. Now, I'm not saying that's true or not true, but you know, I mean, they could put them on a Kobe Bryant helicopter or something. Ain't no telling what those people can do. I mean, you know, MI6, which is like, I guess, the British version of the CIA. Mm-hmm. The CIA learned their dirty tactics from MI6. like they're the originators of covert operations and just dirty tricks. When I went to England once, I got detained, and they took me. They stopped me at the airport. I didn't do anything illegal, but I was just there. I went to London because we were doing some stuff in London. And in the airport, they took me in a room. They took away my phone, and they did not allow me to talk to anybody else for 10 straight hours. So my family was worried. They had no idea where I was. They you know, and I'm like, what did I do? They're like, well, we ain't got to tell you nothing. And then at one point, they did let me use my phone real quick to make a fast call. Like they forced me to talk quickly and get off the phone because I don't know what I still don't know what was really going on. And I you know what I did? I got on my phone and I tweeted that I was being detained and I was pissed. And the lady comes in and says, we saw that you were on Twitter, and we would like for you to refrain from doing that, please. Like it was like they were checking my Twitter and everything. Like they really have an interesting system there to hold down their white supremacy. John, I haven't heard from you for a minute, man. What are your thoughts on all that we're talking about right here?
Well, I think outside of the Netflix, we'll probably have Medea trying to join the royal family movie coming out first before. You know, I think that's the Hollywood hit I'm looking for. But seriously, I definitely feel that when you're dealing with royal families and exactly when you know where the bodies are buried, I think it was probably a smart move for Harry to get him and his wife out of the country. I believe that was a smart move just for safety. But also, we have to look at, like I said, Harry is an interesting dude, man. He's everybody in the royal family is going this way, and Harry has always gone this way. He's always been at odds with his family. He's always done what they don't want him to do. And like I said, this is just an extension of who he is and who he's always has been. But he should have had more talks with Meghan before this.
Well, you know, you would hope that they did, right? But then again, you never know. And so everybody, I want you guys to know what we're talking about. We're doing an all-black panel. We're basically asking a simple question: should Meghan Markle have just married a black man? That was the question I put up there because you know these are some of the complexities you run into when you go into spaces where people don't understand you, you don't understand them, and sometimes you can be lured in, you know, like Meghan was lured, I guess, into the royal, or we were excited about her going into the royal, not we, people were excited about her going into the royal family for the same reason we get excited when a Negro gets a good job. You know, you get a good fancy job making big money, and people don't know you might be walking right into the jaws of the lion. And so if all you look, if everything that glitters looks like gold to you, and you don't have the moment to self-reflect and say, do I really want to be here? Like, will I be safe here? Is this a place for me? Then you're gonna make a lot of mistakes, you know. And so, so I'm in that camp of people that sort of feels like, you know what, that's your problem. You did it. You deal with it. You know, just leave, like whatever, do what you got to do, but don't try to make it into our issue or take something that, you know, like that comment about, well, they asked it about the baby's dark skin or something. That to me was a triggering comment. Oprah's really good at laying stuff out there that's going to trigger the hell out of Black people so they can promote a new movie. Anybody remember when Oprah went to that? Oprah took old rich ass over to Switzerland somewhere and tried to buy a purse and said that the lady insinuated that I couldn't afford the purse. And people were like, oh, no, they didn't. No, you didn't. Tell Oprah she can't afford no purse. Get out of here with that stuff. You ain't oppressed. You know, you're worth $1 billion. Harry and Meghan are worth at least $100 million. Ain't nobody feeling sorry for none of y'all. Y'all pretty much are white privilege. You just happen to have black skin. But go ahead. Go ahead, Trey.
I do feel like I think Harry has some issues based on what happened to his mother that nobody has dealt with. So he's experienced some real trauma, and maybe the money and all of that doesn't mean anything to him. And the fear is real for him to get his wife out of there because my mother told me years ago, them people killed that woman. Like they ran her off the road and killed her. And my mother was really, she probably is right, but I'm not gonna say that she's right because it was never proven. But I think Harry is operating out of that, like John said. He always goes against the grain. He always goes against those people. And so did his mother, which a lot of people think got her murdered. But I think that he's really dealing with those issues of separation from them for that reason. I think it's deeper issues here than Meghan. I just think he uses her to speak out and say whatever she wants to say because she's okay with speaking out because someone on the people said he's always the quiet one and she's always the one saying everything. And if you're going to come on and say that, this is just me. Don't come to me and say, Trey, somebody told me that. If you can't tell me who said it, then don't tell me. So don't tell me somebody said we're concerned about the color of if the baby's going to be dark. If you can't tell me who said it, then that statement shouldn't even be said because we really can't address it because we don't know who said it. So was it really said? Because y'all both said I don't want to name no names. That's one thing in high school we used to say. That's high school play. Oh, Dr. Charm, somebody told me that you were sleeping with my boyfriend. Well, who the somebody? That's something in your head. That's what I think when somebody comes to me and says, Trey, somebody told me this about you. And I say, well, who told you? Well, I can't tell you who told me that. Oh, that's what you're saying. So maybe them, because I will come out and say, the queen said they scared my baby gonna be dark. So we need to address the queen because if we're here to address issues, why are you sitting here talking to Oprah? For entertainment? Because we're not
Well, that is true. I mean, if you make an accusation against anybody, you're then accountable for that. You know, if you then say, well, I don't want to name no names, well, then your credibility is kind of shot. You need to go ahead and name names so that person has a chance to come out and say, no, that's not how it went down. Here's my side of the story. There are different sides of every story. And I don't know why people don't get that. I mean, it's very simple. So I want to ask everybody on the panel if you could do this, if you don't mind. First of all, everybody in the audience, please hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button right now if you haven't done it yet. We're talking about not just Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, but really white supremacy. As you guys know, we like to make the conversations more intelligent. We like to elevate the discussion. And our panelists, Dr. Charm, Trey Kearney, JT Slim Cutter, aka John F. Thomas, T. Khalid, and John Henry from the Black Boss Channel, all here helping us to sort this out. I would like, starting with you, Dr. Charm, if everybody could maybe 90 seconds or less, just kind of give like a closing thought that will help us have some perspective on this, maybe a conclusion that you have from this as we move forward as Black people, because you know Oprah gonna be back triggering us again when a new movie comes out. So I'd be curious to know how we can move forward and just be smarter, better people as a result of this conversation. Dr. Charm.
I have to say that I was transfixed by the interview. It was scandalous. It was juicy. Oprah did a great job. You know, I got my problems with Oprah Please, I really do. But she really did remind us of why she's one of the greatest who ever did it as far as interviews are concerned. I really, as I stated before, I think the whole the bigger picture of what the Windsors and that family has done to Black people, the slave trade, the racism. This is just a minor reflection. How they treated Meghan is a minor reflection of how they have treated the entire world and their Commonwealth. And you know, why are we as Black people speaking English right now? Because of what happened during the slave trade. But I will still have to say that at the end of the day, Meghan Markle is a Black woman. I know she's not out there with dashikis and Black power, but I do know that her Black co-stars on Suits, you know, they always had great things to say about her. They said she was pretty culturally aware. I think when she was on Suits, they had originally cast 2 white people to be her parents. And she went to the people on the show and said, you know, I'm biracial and I'm half Black. And I would like you to have my parents reflect that. So I thought that was pretty cool. But, you know, at the end of the day, shout out to Harry for standing by his wife and taking her out of that. And the question today was, should she have married a Black man? Meghan Markle marry whoever the hell she wants. But I will have to applaud him as a man for standing by his wife and taking her out of harm's way so that she wouldn't end up like his mother.
Okay. All right. Trey Kearney, your final thought.
My final thought is, let's not be distracted by stuff that doesn't even pertain to us. I have empathy and sympathy because I am a woman, and I know feeling like you're cornered or nobody understands, and you can get some suicidal thoughts. And one thing I hope for Meghan, if you're listening, I hope that you're seeing a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a therapist, or somebody instead of sitting talking to Oprah and Tyler Perry. I hope you're really those emotional issues that you have, because you may have emotional issues from being Black and white. But my thing is, let us not be distracted by things that don't concern us. And like Dr. Charm said, I am glad that her husband is standing by her, because that's what marriage is all about. Even though it's not Black love and it's not 2 Black people, we got to stand by each other. But I think that that's their plight. And for Oprah and for Tyler Perry, they are, you know, great Black people. But their job is to make money, and their job is to get sucked in by nonsense. These things that Meghan is going through, like I said, I feel bad. Yeah. I don't know why this is coming to America. Like, I've seen things, and his father on the like, you can marry this person. But Meghan and that was a movie. This is real life. So you're really prejudiced.
Hey Trey, your mic was going in and out a little bit. I couldn't quite catch everything, but I think we caught the gist of it for sure. Okay, so John Henry from the Black Boss Channel. What are your final thoughts?
Okay, so I wonder if Tyler Perry was going to have Medea try to get into the royal family through a Tinder account or something like that. I can't wait to see what this movie is going to be like. But I think that I'm not sure what Prince Harry is trying to do. I'm not sure if he has always had a disdain for the royal family and has been trying to separate himself from the royal family, and this was the best way that he could find to do it. I'm really interested in his motivation and intent, if it is love. But I think that's the real story. It's just the fact that because he's the one with everything to lose. Meghan Markle is getting drugged through the mud. However, Prince Harry is the one with his lineage and his legacy to lose. So for him standing by Meghan Markle and even just choosing to marry her from the beginning, he makes him okay in my book. I let him come to the picnic.
Okay. All right. So Harry's invited to the picnic. All right. JT Slim Cutter, John F. Thomas. Your final thought?
Let's not be so emotionally tied to everything that happens in the world that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with us. She is Black, and it is true. But also she has to take some accountability for you rushed into this marriage. You went into this family. You didn't really prep for everything that was to come. And so this is what happens. I mean, even if I'm from the South, if I date a white woman, there's a probably 30% chance that I'm going to meet her family who might be racist, and they might say some racist stuff, or they might say some slick things, might say something about the baby and all this other stuff. And that just comes with the territory. I mean, white people are experiencing white supremacy in various forms all over the world. Like, it's not just here in America, but it started in England and it just spread. So we have to understand this and stop being so shocked when these things happen. Also, going back to the question with should she have married a black man, she probably would have avoided all of that. But at the same time, I want to applaud Harry for because who knows what really happened, with his mother and all this stuff. And if there's something that concerns him, he took her out of the fire and placed her over here where her, the child, Archie, and the newborn child would be safe. So, I mean, kudos. Just try to make better decisions, Meghan. If you and be safe with what you say. And I don't know. Just black people, let's stop being so emotionally tied to things that have not too much to do with us. That's all. That's it.
Okay. So T. Khalik, what are your thoughts? I mean, I want you to let it out. I mean, what I know that you. I'm glad you're here also because I know that you say things that like you really love black people, and you love black people in a way that is unapologetic and is not mainstream. Because a lot of people think they love black people, but really they don't understand they're supporting white supremacy and don't even know it. What are your thoughts on what are your final thoughts as we walk away today?
Well, just to answer the overall question about should she have married a black man? If she wanted to avoid this, yes, but she can marry whoever she wants. So I totally agree with that. I just don't like how black people are always being triggered, and when you're highly emotional, you don't think logically. And then that's when people can use and abuse and profit off you. That happens to us politically every 4 years. We are always triggered into something, or they create some boogeyman where we have to all focus and attack that one boogeyman, and then everything's going to be okay. But that doesn't really pan out. Our situation just remains the same. And I just see this as a black distraction to me. And when Meghan Merkel, I do totally agree with Tracy Kearney on that. When she mentioned one of the family members talking about skin color, tell us what they said. Why just drop something and then don't tell us who said it and the context of it being said, and then just triggering us for what? I don't see the benefit of that to black people. And the criticism I have with Prince Harry, I mean, I do understand that he protected his woman by taking him out the situation. But the criticism I have with him is, why are you letting her doing all the talking about your family? Because that's why she's getting attacked, because she's the one doing all the talking. The way it looked is you got an outsider who married into your family, and she's really going in on your family. If you had these issues and reservations about your family, why don't you get in front of your woman and you do all the talking? Why are you putting it on her? And now everyone's attacking her because it just doesn't look good. I'm sorry. It looks like the black woman came and all of this drama happened. No, Prince Harry, if you had these problems, then you talk. Open up your mouth. You're just being Millie Mouth, and your woman is just saying whatever she wants about your family, and you're being Millie Mouth. You had these problems, so you get in front of her and you talk, and then you take all the heat. And that's pretty much what I got to say about that.
All right. Well, he always finishes with a bang, don't he? All right, so do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. I hope everybody can give a digital thank you to our panelists on this great conversation. I will make a quick closing statement and just say this. So when you think about white supremacy, I think a lot about it. I don't consider myself to be any sort of leading expert on white supremacy, but I thought a lot about it to understand what that means. So to me, white supremacy, among other things, means you're in situations where white people are supreme, where they are the ones who make the rules. Cornel West is at Harvard. He faces white supremacy because if black people were voting on Cornel West's tenure, he would have gotten tenure by landslide. But because we're not voting, we don't matter in that space. So one of the things I've noticed about white supremacy is kind of like the rain. When it's raining outside, you go inside because you don't want to get wet. Now, if you stand outside and it's raining on you and you get wet and you're complaining, oh my God, it's so wet out here, you got to kind of ask yourself, why are some of us wet and some of us dry? Well, maybe the reason you're wet is because you're going to where the rain is. You're standing underneath the rain. So a lot of times the reason why some of us feel like we're surrounded by white supremacy, controlled by white supremacy, can't manage our lives without white supremacy, can't get a promotion without white supremacy, can't make $1 without white supremacy, is because you're signing up. I mean, you're literally chasing down opportunities to embrace white supremacy and to be in white supremacist spaces as much as you possibly can. The first thing they taught you when you were a child was that you need to go to a school with a white teacher, with a white principal who's going to send your black ass to detention every single week. Then the next thing you're told to go to a big white university, give them $100,000 of your money so they can treat you like a nigga and then leave you in debt for the rest of your life. Then you're told to go work for another white man who's going to have you working like a slave until you're 70 years old to pay off them student loans, not paying you more than a couple nickels, and have you pissed off every day because you got to go to work in the face of white supremacy. It's white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy. So what I'm saying to you is that white supremacy does not always exist everywhere. Supremacy exists with those who control the space in which you're operating. So, for example, if I go to China, white supremacy don't matter really in China because it's Chinese supremacy. I'd be dealing with Chinese in any company I work for, any school I go to, any space I'm in, I'm gonna deal with Chinese supremacy. So if I wanted to get away from Chinese supremacy, I would leave the country, I would leave the situation. When you're in my house, you deal with black supremacy. In our house, black people make the rules. In my business, black people make the rules. So what I'm saying to you, black people in general, is this: stop co-signing white supremacy, stop chasing down white supremacy, stop trying to go to places where the rain is pouring and then complaining that you're wet. You know, you're chasing down this idea that somehow this was a fairy tale. I don't know what sort of weird delusional fairy tale this was, that she's marrying some redhead white boy from across the sea. I don't have nothing against that. People can marry who they want. This is 100% true. But when you're signing up for that, you're going into their house with their rules, with their processes and their beliefs and their culture, whatever. If you don't like it, then keep your black ass at home. Go somewhere else. That's my 2 cents on the issue. But then again, that's what my parents always said to me. If you don't like it over there, then go somewhere else. Why were you over there in the first place? So a lot of y'all got parents like that. Like, well, why was you at their house? Why was you at Joe's house in the first place, right? So what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, you have to make choices and you have to be smart. So I think that, again, the core issue for me in the very beginning was this weird like a fantasy, like almost like an orgasmic excitement people had about Meghan Markle marrying this British prince and going into this royal family, like somehow that was an upgrade. That was not an upgrade. That was a downgrade. You only thought it was an upgrade because they have money and they have power, that which they obtain through ill-gotten gains. The Queen of England is the largest landowner on the planet. She owns 6 billion acres of land. How does she own all that land? Well, they went around for hundreds of years robbing, raping, and pillaging black people and stealing all of our property and then claiming it as their own part of the British crown. And somehow you cheering for that because you somehow think, well, now I'm down with the oppressor. Well, if that's how you think, then you're pretty much a white supremacist. So congratulations, you're doing better work than the Klan because you're as much of an oppressor as anybody else. So stop supporting for white supremacy. Stop cheering for it. Stop being a co-conspirator and call it for what it is. So good luck to Meghan. I don't hate the poor lady. I wish her the very, very best. But none of that interview inspired me on any level. None of it shocked me. It was what it was. Most of us were not surprised. That's it. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate y'all letting me get that out. And I appreciate the panelists for joining us today. If you guys could please give a digital thank you to the panelists. We're going to have more all black panels in the very near future to have good conversations on important issues. We love you all. Please have a good day. Hit the thumbs up button on your way out, and we will talk to you soon. Take care. Peace.